Shalom. We're back with another video. So before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash, to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to give double honor. Shalom to the 144,000, to the 1/3, to the hopeful elect. We're here with a video I'm going to call Curses Upon Thy Enemies. We're going to start with this article from the Medianate by Sean James 3 days ago. Fox Trey Gowdy wonders why Alex Purdy is being demonized for carrying a gun after Kyle Rittenhouse was celebrated for it. Fox News anchor Trey Gowdy said the shooting death of Alex Purdy has led some conservatives to ask why the Trump administration called out Purdy for carrying a gun after celebrating Kyle Rittenhouse for doing the same thing in 2020. The guy said there is a double standard in how some right-wingers are talking about the shooting during their appearance on American Newsroom on Monday morning. I think what frustrates people, and we know what people they talking about, the YT or the Edomite, is you remember Kyle Rittenhouse and how he was made a hero on the right. I'm sure there are people on the conservative side who are saying, wait a minute. You mean you can't take a firearm to a protest? Because you were celebrating a guy for doing it a couple years ago, Gowdy said. Gowdy continued, Alex Purdy firearm was lawfully being carried. It is lawful to carry a gun in Minnesota. He never brandished it. He didn't even point it at the cops. Rittenhouse shot and killed 3 people in Wisconsin amid a Black Lives Matter riot and protests of 2020. He argued the shooting were in self-defense, and he was acquitted in 2021. Gowdy come after Purdy was shot and killed during an altercation with Border Patrol agents in Minnesota on Saturday, immediately after Border Patrol Commander Greg Bouvigno said Purdy intended to massacre immigration agents because he was carrying a 9mm gun. DHS Secretary Christian Noel similarly said Purdy wanted to kill agents. But the critics have said clips of the shooting do not back up what the officer said. And Fox News congressional correspondent Bill Mulligan reported on Sunday that a number of immigration agents were increasingly uneasy and frustrated with how Bouvigno and Norm characterized the shooting. And we don't have to go any further than that. Basically, a bunch of Esau rhetoric, Esau against Esau. But it's nice to see now, because for years Esau has enjoyed that white privilege that had kept them alive when they have done all kind of off-the-wall shit towards other Edomites, really against other cops. I remember seeing one video where this Edomite man got pulled over, older Edomite man, the police officer was trying to get him to just give him his ID and stuff. And the old Edomite man just really went back into the truck and pulled a shotgun. Now the cop seeing him going in there, warning him, hey, don't go in that truck. Hey, don't go in that truck. Put down the gun, sir. Put down the gun, sir. And he talked this man to his own death, basically. Because this man had no chill in his spirit. He came to put that officer to death, and that's exactly what he did with a double-barrel shotgun. Blow a hole in him. So they're used to that kind of treatment, to where being white is a privilege, and the officers never really attack them. They can do and say whatever they want to do, cuss them out, slap them, threaten them, whatever they look wicked mind can come up with, they was allowed to do to other Edomite officers without so much of an eye being batted. But now we're seeing Yahweh Ba'ashem and Yahweh Shai do a 180. And he's starting to put these curses upon our enemies. So now that's what they're crying about. Like, hey, we used to be able to do whatever we want. Why are we getting shot down now like some of those Negroes, some of those colored, some of those blacks and Latinos? That's not our pain. We never had to go through that. We never was in trouble like that. But now we're starting to see with ICE and these protests that the Edomites feel like those who come against them, even their own kind, then they're asking for death. They no longer have the protection of white privilege. Which we're going to start here. This is Psalms 73 in the GNT 4 through 6. They do not suffer pain. They are healthy and strong. Yeah, they didn't used to suffer. There was no pain in their death. They used to be able to, like I said, do whatever they want. But now we're starting to see them go through pain. We're starting to see them suffer for trying to really just speak out against their own people. They do not suffer as other people do. They do not have the trouble that others have. Yeah, they didn't have those troubles. Like I said, they used to be able to do whatever they wanted to police officers and to the government. Remember the January 16th or 9th, whichever one it was. They literally ran into the offices of government officials and took over that building, beating up cops, threatened to kill them. And what happened? All of them got acquitted by Trump when he got into the White House. And they showed, I remember that year, because they showed when they had a Black Lives protest, and they had the militaries at the Capitol building, locked and loaded and ready to gun down the protesters. And you know most of those protesters were Jake did. So how they went from armed military guards for so-called Jake and other nation protesters, then when them white men ran into the government building, beating up government officials, and nothing really happened to them. Just because they're in their kingdom, so they didn't used to be in trouble. But now Yahweh Bashim Hawashai is doing the 360 on their ass, and they're feeling the weight of those things that they at first had no trouble in. Verse 6. So they wear pride like a necklace and violence like a robe. And they were used to doing that, man. It had made them very prideful. But now that they see that their pride is being cut short, that they're having pains in their death, that they no longer don't get in trouble like other people, that now they're being seen like other people, now they're ready to use that violence. Now they're ready to use their blessing against their own self. Why? Because they don't understand that Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai has put those same curses he had on his people under them now. That's why all this has changed. That's why they're in trouble like other men. That's why there are pains in their death. Because they're under these curses that we have been in, for a long time. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And they're under these curses. Look at our people. Look how destroyed we are because of the curses. Now it's their turn. Now it's their turn to feel the weight of the curses. Curse when you come in, curse when you go out. It's their turn to see how it feels to be just shot down like a dog in the street. Because that's what they did to that man. It was about 7 or 8 of them. One of them pulled his weapon out that he had, ran out to the side, the other screen. He got a gun and they just unloaded on him. I mean, how many times you seen that happen to Jake, especially during the pandemic. That's when it really was brought to the forefront. That's how they used to handle Jake. Get about 5 or 6 of them ganging up on Jake, punching and kicking him. Then one of them unload their clip on him. Then all they had to do, well, I fear for my life. I fear for my life. And it's 7 of y'all. How in the hell 7 of y'all jumping one man and you fear for your life and you got to unload the whole clip in it? And that was the same answer they used for Predator. Well, they fear for their life. You seen them. So they had to do what they had to do. That's those pain, man. That's that 73. That's that Psalm 73. They didn't used to be in trouble as other men. They didn't have no pains in their death. But now they do. Why? Because the curses are falling upon them. Yahweh Bashim Hawashai is slowly taking them off us and slowly adding them to our enemies, which is the Edomite and the other nation, and especially Edom. That's why Edom frustrated. That's why he was like, well, y'all let Kyle Rittenhouse do it in 2020. Why he can't bring a gun? Because they don't understand that these are the curses being placed upon them. Matter of fact, let's get a few of those curses. This is Deuteronomy 28. We'll start at 16. Curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field. Yeah. Now they're in the city like Jake getting gunned down. This is one of the curses. Then they don't understand. That's why they no longer can do what they want to the authorities. Because Yahweh Bashim Hawashai is putting those curses upon them. All right. 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall lead. And we're seeing Esau killing Esau. So that's what happened. We're seeing their eyes being evil toward their brother. And that's why it scares them even more. Because it wasn't like it was a Jake that put him down. It was another Edomite. And it's like, hold on. You telling me a white man killed another white man violently in the street like he's a nigga? Yep. That's what happened. Why? Because you're now under those curses. Where your own brethren's eyes are evil towards yourself. That white privilege no longer protects you. There's no longer white camaraderie against the so-called blacks and the browns. See, this was normal for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, for them to have evil eyes towards each other. And no white man, just like I said, used to be able to do whatever they wanted to. There were plenty of videos of so-called white men acting out crazy, coming against other white men, officers, trying to stab them, shoot them, and other stuff, and they want to talk them down or use beanbag bullets, stuff to incapacitate them but not kill them. But soon as they see a Jake, they walk up to the car with their hand on their pistol. Now, not so much. Now they're getting that other side. Now they're seeing what it feels like to have a brother's eye evil towards you. And they don't like it. And it's scaring them. All right? In here on Deuteronomy 28 and 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. See, they no longer have insurance of their life. They realize we no longer can do all the wicked stuff that we used to do. Why? Because those curses are moving on to them, where their brother's eyes are evil towards each other. I mean, they always was evil towards each other, let's be honest. Even though they hide the statistic, we all know the shaven white man was one of the biggest killers here in Babylon, but now it's being brought to the forefront even more so. Because we're seeing just like that Edomite woman and now pretty, those Edomite men no longer care about their lives. They were quick to put them to death. So we're seeing this curse here where they have no insurance. Matter of fact, let's get that word insurance. They have no insurance of their life. And that causes fear. Think about it. Police jump behind Jake. Jake straighten up in his seat. Hands on 10 and 2. Looking forward. Eyes cutting in the mirror. Hoping that he don't get pulled over. Sweat. I'm talking about Jake just sweating up in there. Shit, man. God damn. And that happened for Jake no matter what. Whether he got all his stuff is straight or not. Jake getting nervous. And we're starting to see Edom do that. But when Edom do that, it's not going to be good, man. Because they get to a point, they're gonna be ready to use that blessing on those who's making them fear. Those who taking away the insurance of their lives, man. Insurance, Strong's H539. Amon. To support, to confirm, to be faithful. To support, confirm, to be faithful. Pillars of support the door. Let's see. To made firm, to sure, lasting. Yeah. And they no longer have that. They no longer have that firm belief that their life is gonna be good in whatever they do against officers. Now they understand, hey, their life hang in the balance. Amon, a primitive root, Isaiah 30 and 21, interchangeable with Strong H51 541 to go to the right hand, properly to build up or support, to foster as a parent or nurse, figuratively to render or to be firm or faithful, to trust or believe. Yeah, they have no trust, no belief that their life will be safe anymore. And it's going to cause them to riot. It's going to cause them to wild out. So when Edom scared, we see what they do. They want to put bullets in something. Like these officers. They use on so-called niggas. I feared for my life, so I had to shoot him up. And that's what they said about Pretty. Even though they knew one of the other guys got the gun and they unloaded clips in him, I feared for my life. So now when the regular Edomite, who didn't used to be in trouble as other men, who didn't have bands in their death, what you gonna think when they fear? What you think they're gonna do? They're gonna riot. They're gonna rebel. They're gonna fight because they don't like to be in fear. And we're gonna end it out here. 2nd Ezra 15, 16 through 19. For there shall be some sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's what they're going to do, man. They're going to rebel against the government. Why? Because they're now afraid. This was something they ain't never had done to them, to where they were slaughtered like dogs in the street. So they're going to rise up. And man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. For because their pride, a city shall be troubled, houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And we're seeing that now. Because the pride of those cities, we're seeing that they're in trouble. Now that Congress gave ICE the right to, I think, pass the 4th Amendment, to where now they can just, if they feel like they want to go in somebody's house without a court order papers, they can just do that now. We're starting to see the beginning of these things, the beginning of sorrow, the beginning of these curses being put on our enemy. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and great tribulation. And this time is coming. Why? Because we're seeing those Edomites who are afraid, ready to pick up their arms. You can go all over TikTok and you'll see it. They're like, look, enough talking. We got to fight back. I remember sometime last year when those Edomite thought it was a Jake that killed Charlie Kirk. They marching around, fight back, white men, fight back, white men. So it's y'all time to fight back. It's y'all time to do what you're gonna do. Now us, we don't care what y'all do. Long as prophecy being fulfilled, hey, go at it. Have at it. We know we don't support you, nor do we care. We're just here waiting on prophecy to be fulfilled. Shalakia for that. We're waiting for prophecy to be fulfilled. So whatever you're gonna do, have at it. It's your world, white man. Edomite. Whatever you're gonna do, just do what you're gonna do. We're waiting on Yahweh by Hashem and Hawashai to come rescue us because we have no power in this fight. So, hey, it is what it is. But that's all I had on that. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem and Hawashai. Shalom.